Okay, welcome to Estes Park, Colorado. Sorry for the delay there. We're in the second period of the JV girls basketball game, and Strasburg leads it 5-3 with 2:56 left in the second period. I do have a special guest with me today, Mercy Ames, on the color. So
I don't know how special that is, but okay.
so she'll give us insight that we've never had before on this broadcast. So that'll be great.
Okay. So you may notice that Coach Welch is over there. This is really Estes combo C, JV, mostly C, so that's kind of what we're doing as well.
So we got Kennedy Hickson at the line shooting two. She missed her first one here. Second one is up and off, and that missed
just a
the
bit
rim.
outside.
Yeah.
Yes, just a bit outside.
So that ball will go over to Estes Park here. We don't have a roster for the Estes Park JV team, so we'll
No.
call them by number here.
Yep.
Estes moving it around the outside, takes a
Yep.
three off the glass and going to be
Good
pulled down
rebound.
by Hickson.
Yep. Strasburg's playing a little man.
This court seems awful long to me. I don't know.
It actually is. It's a collegiate-sized court.
Oh, it
so
is?
it's about 6 feet longer.
Oh. Hickson throws it down to Lasecki, and she takes it up and in, gives the Indians a 7-3 lead.
Third quarter. Yeah.
2:10 left in the second period.
Oh, wow. You're actually saying the time and score? That's important. Thank you.
Estes Park moves it around the perimeter. She moves in on the baseline against Lasecki. Lasecki blocks her out, so kicks
Got
it back to the
Likert on
top.
the ball.
Yeah.
3-second call.
Rupel into the game for the Indians. And Mercy, you're going to have to help me out with some of the the
Oh, sure. No problem.
C players,
Absolutely.
like number 12. I'm not
That's
sure.
Sydney Likert. Oh, Peyton Lasecki with the shot. It's a good look. Out of bounds.
So the ball will stay with the Indians under their own basket here. Rupel will bring it in and out of bounds. Rupel goes into Lasecki. She backs back and then back over to Rupel. Takes it up off the glass. Tracked down by Bauer. Kicks it out to Hickson, who drives into the paint. And Estes comes away with the loose ball.
Yep. Sammy Ruppel. Good hustle, Sammy.
Yeah, good hustle there.
I always think that's an okay foul.
Yeah.
If you're not in foul trouble and that stuff.
Yeah. Save the
Keeps that team,
basket. Yeah.
Keeps a little momentum on your side. Got a little stack. 10 with the shot and in.
Nice inbounds play by Estes Park. Makes the score Strasburg 7, Estes Park Bobcats 5. Rupel drives around.
Nice drive, Sammy.
Off the glass and just
good look.
missed.
Good look. Good rebound.
Lasecki comes down with it.
Oh, at a girl, Sid. Yeah.
And Strasburg with Likert on the two-pointer.
She has improved so much. She had never played basketball until this year. This was her first ever basketball experience.
And I like the shoes a lot.
Yes, definitely. Definitely a person of style. We got a little ball side screen. Sydney should call that out. There we go. Oh, we're back in matchup zone. There we go.
Yeah, it's just moving it around, trying to get some penetration.
Kennedy is such a quick player.
Yeah. Sometimes
she tries to get through there.
That's another player. It's really improved this year.
Yes. They all really have. I know people are getting tired of hearing me say this, but it's amazing to me that this is only a 6-week season.
Yeah.
The amount of improvement these young ladies. I've had teams that played a full season and didn't improve as much as these guys have.
Right.
It was just the 6 weeks.
And the difficulty with this season is you get one practice, one game. You don't really get to put in a game plan for your next opponent. So
Oh, it's been very challenging.
Yeah.
Yes, very challenging. But you know, it's that way for everybody, though.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, it's an even playing field. It's just a difficult task for the coaches and the players both.
Mhm.
So
I think for your top teams, it's a little easier because you know, and there's different coaching philosophies. Some people are like, well, we're going to do whatever we do anyway, you know,
Yeah.
regardless of what they do. And then you get other people that are going to try and tweak stuff and do things to make your team competitive. So
yeah, and I think those top teams in the Patriot, they're playing, you know, a lot of summer ball. It looks like because they're very familiar with themselves as a team, and you know, I don't know that for sure, but that's what it looks like. They play a lot of basketball.
you know, they play a lot of club basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm not such a big proponent of
Right.
that all the time, but you know what was a little frustrating was, you know, Brush, for example, and Platte Valley, and a couple of those teams have been practicing since November.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, we just where they were in their locale, they were able to do that, and we couldn't. Literally, we had like a week and a half of practice before our first game. So.
Right. Yeah, I talked to a coach at Brush when we were down there, and that's what they were saying. They've been playing since November, and you know, you had 2-3 months on to practice. That's a world of difference. So.
It makes a little bit of difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're, you know, Brush. By the way, I'm so impressed with their facility.
Mhm.
Not their officiating, but
Right.
their facility. That they've been able to do some really pretty neat things over there. They certainly play with a different level of physicality than most teams, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the most physical girls' games that I had witnessed. That in the Lyman game as well.
Yeah.
So, and the officials kind of let the game get that way.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're not really built like that. We couldn't match up for Lyman's size and then Brush's speed. So,
Yeah. Well, Lyman's got size. Holy
yeah.
moly. They definitely have a lot of size here.
Yeah, when you put 3 girls in there at 5'11", and you know they're not skinny 5'11" either. They're
No, and I'm pretty sure a couple of those girls are over 6
Yeah.
foot. They're not. The number 42 and then the Marks girl. The
Yeah.
Marks girl is just, you know, not only is she big and strong, she's tall and strong, but she's quick. She's very athletic.
Yeah.
She's a very, very athletic, big person. And the
Yeah.
other ones were just kind of big bullies, really. They just push us under. And
right.
you know, when you're when you're 5'7", 5'8", maybe 145 pounds.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough when you're trying to push against that.
Yeah.
5'11" or 6 foot,
You know,
upwards of 180 pounds.
Right.
So.
and then you look at the schedule that you guys played, and every night you're playing at least a top 15, if not a top 10 team. And then you step into 2A and you're playing a top 5 team. There's not a night off. So, and
No, you know, though, we talk about that a lot, and I know in years like this it's tough, but you know, it's always been that way since I've been here at Strasburg,
Yeah.
and I think in a lot of ways it makes us a lot better. It makes us tougher mentally and stuff. And some nights, though, for sure, you'd be like, geez,
yeah.
you know, we'd like to get a little break, but
And you saw that when you went over to Bennett and stepped out of the league, and it showed how physical you were compared to a team outside of your league. So playing in the Patriot, you got to play that type of ball, even though you may not match up with the top teams in the Patriot this year. But, you know, you step out of the league and obviously you match up with teams around the state.
yeah, you know, we like to think so. You know, that kind of the other thing I really like about Strasburg and our program, we tend to get the best out of everybody. You know, we've always scheduled very competitive schedules, and so teams like to play us, and we try and get that. To be honest, though, I didn't feel like Bennett was that physical of a game. I know that Coach Rios said that in the paper, but
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it was that physical. So
Yeah.
he needs to go play Brush or Eaton,
Right.
or Lyman, so University for that matter.
Yeah, and you know, in our mind, it wasn't a physical game. To them, they're getting beat up, And you know, you step into that league and you'd probably dominate that league. In our league, we're towards the bottom, but you know, you look at the team here. You got 3 seniors. You got one that has significant varsity time. The other 2 came up off of JV last year, and then you got Autumn Stone that played significant varsity last year. Other than that, they're coming out of middle school and JV and stepping into the Patriot League varsity schedule. So that's a big task to ask.
That is a big task to ask. You're absolutely correct on that.
And then the experience you're getting this year is just going to pay off. You know, I look at this program and it's a bright future from the freshman, sophomore, and junior class you got coming in. You know, there's good talent there. You could use size. So I don't know if you could go
we can always
recruit.
use size. we can always use size.
Yeah.
Can use, but you need athletic size
Yeah.
and somebody that's willing to work for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would rather, you know, we've talked about this over the years, and I think one of my few quotes that ever made it into the old Denver Post way back in the day. We were playing with linemen and both kind of top squads, and I think the guy interviewed me and said something about the size differential and why there was such a big size differential, and I'm dumb. So I said, well, if you look at their parents, you know, their parents are all a lot taller than ours.
Yeah.
And we had this big, huge interview, and the only part of my quote that got into the paper was, well, we have short parents. That's what it said. And I'm like,
Yeah.
thanks. Luckily, they all had a pretty good sense of humor. So,
Yeah, every year, not to bring up linemen again, but every year I go down and, like you say, you look at their parents and the kids are always big, you know, from the boys and the girls, and the parents are big. So, yeah, we just need better genetics.
well, I don't know about that. I mean, I love it here. You have to respect the culture that
Yeah.
Lyman has established over their existence.
Sure.
You know, athletics is a huge, huge part of that. I think, you know, one of the things I really like about small schools, everybody always asks about, you know, small schools compared to big schools. And the thing I like about small schools is kids get a chance to do everything. And you know, you look at linemen and they don't, you know, for the most part, those kids really don't play club sports. And if they do, they play just a little bit of rec ball or whatever. And, you know, to me, it's a great example of the multi-sport athlete and how multiple sports helps you. And, you know, I'm not disagreeing. There's not a lot of benefits you can get from sports, you know, speciality and learn some stuff and stuff like that too. But, you know, I think something's lost in the high school experience.
Yeah. And I look at your team, the seniors in particular, and you got 2 seniors on this team that are going to get the John Mundell Award, which is a 3-sport athlete for 4 years. And that's Reagan Renow and Grace Buckman. And both of them are in cross-country, basketball, track, and I believe Reagan's doing a spring sport. I know she is. It's not coming to mind. I believe golf.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, they're involved in other things, and I think that's extremely important to, you know, to get that well-rounded experience.
Oh, I do too.
So
Definitely.
And in a small school like Strasburg, you need participation in all the sports.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I think so too. It makes, you know, and athletically it helps you, you know.
Yeah.
Athletically it helps you a ton.
And I think you learn so much more just being part of a team, you know, in life.
Oh.
You know, when you get into the workforce, they always ask, are you a team player? And that's what sports teaches these girls and boys for that matter. So we're back to live action here in Estes Park. So Strasburg has the ball. Lisecki's going to drive it to the base. Over to Seligman, who misses a shot.
Nice rebound, Kate.
Kate Grove comes down and out to Hickson.
Hey, so I have got to go tape, so I have a special guest commentator for you. It's somebody you might know.
Okay.
I think you might be acquainted with her. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, here you
So
go.
Mercy's going to go do her 30,000 chores before the game, and our assistant coach is going to set in here, and that's Haley Buckman. So she's putting on the headphones. So welcome, Haley, and she's laughing, talking to her dad here on the intercom, but she's generally the coach of the JV girls team. But tonight, or this afternoon, Estes Park has a combination they don't have a C team, so a lot of their girls play the lower level. So we gave the C girls, is that correct, an opportunity to come up.
Yep.
So Haley's very familiar with these girls, so she can give us some insight. So we do have Katie Seligman shooting free throws, missed the second one, and Estes Park came down. So Haley, looking at these younger girls, Mercy and I were talking about the future for the program. You know, what do you see in the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors coming up?
I'm excited. I think the freshmen and sophomores, they've been playing together during the summers and in middle school and at elementary school camps for a long, long time. So it's fun to have a group of girls who like basketball, and they're pretty athletic, which is exciting, but they also really like each other, which in girls' sports sometimes that's half the battle.
That was Katie Seligman on the putback, making the score 10-5 Strasburg with 4:15 in the third. So that's one thing, having a daughter in the program, both coach and player. You guys have mentioned the camaraderie of this team. And that's made a very enjoyable season, although the results in the win-loss column at the varsity level probably isn't there, but at least the chemistry's there, and the future does look very good for the program.
Yeah, we're excited about it, and I think Katie, which leads me to the next part, which is getting them in the weight room. I have a lot of girls who want to do weight training as a class, and we're talking about getting them in the weight room consistently in the summer too, because that's one difference I've noticed between our team and some of our competitors is they lift a lot of weights, and it's pretty obvious. So we're excited because they want to get in the weight room. So someone like Katie, who gets a ton of rebounds already, if she puts some muscle on, I can't imagine how much of a beast she'll end up being.
Right. And I think Mercy and I were talking about the competitiveness of the Patriot League and how physical that league is. And I think that's a key for Strasburg to start competing in the Patriot League in girls sports is that weight training program.
Yep.
You got to get bigger, you got to get stronger and quicker, and that's what the weight training program will do.
Yep.
You can see that in the boys football program.
Yep, and it translates over to basketball for them and track.
Yeah.
So there goes Kate Grow, the steal, fast break. Oh.
Just off the front of the rim for Kate. Nice break, though, went coast to coast.
Yep.
Katie Hickson on a three-pointer off the back of the rim. That's going to be a jump ball.
Kennedy, Katie's your mom.
Or, yeah, Katie, if you're listening, I apologize again.
He does it every time.
Yeah.
It's okay. He calls me Grace all the time. That's his other kid.
So we got a timeout. We're just going to go through and recognize a few of our sponsors. We have 3 levels of sponsors, red, black, and white. If you're interested in being a sponsor, reach out to Strasburg Booster Club at gmail.com, and they'll send you the information you need. So Home and Land Realty. Now is the time to sell your home and land for top dollar. Contact Home and Land Realty, your local real estate professionals, 303-622-4242. And Blue Halo Homes, LLC. Together we can find a solution for your next home. 303-457-1181. So I asked Mercy to help me out with the players on the floor. So if you could just tell us who's on the floor for the Indians right now.
Yeah.
A lot of these girls I don't know.
So number 20 is our freshman. That's Lily Janish. And then we have number 22. That's Jackie Saavedra. She's a sophomore. And then 14 is Brooke Bauer. She asked if she could play today, wanted a little more play time. So, of course, we're not going to say no. And then we have Sydney Liker, number 12, and Kate Grow, number 30. So, and Sydney, this is her first year playing basketball. So she has improved leaps and bounds. She's doing awesome.
Great.
She was funny. First week of practice, we were using all kinds of basketball terminology with her, and she just kind of looked at us, and I realized one day she might not know what a travel is or what a double dribble is.
Right.
She picks it up quick, though, so that's good.
She's also multi-talented because she's a great singer at the national anthem at home games.
She's awesome. Yeah. So we're excited. It's kids like that that make coaching fun, and we've got Lily, who was super shy at the beginning of the season, and now she's kind of come out of her shell a little bit. So it's pretty fun. It would be awesome if we had a regular season lengthwise, because I think that all 3 of our teams would have done really, really well.
Yeah, and that's one thing we were talking about earlier is just the schedule. You practice and practice one day, play a game a day, practice a day, and it's just been a very hectic 13-game schedule.
Well, and especially for these younger girls who haven't had a chance to play a lot or at all, to never practice and go play 3 games a week, that's a lot to ask, and they've done awesome with it.
Yeah, and they've definitely improved, like you mentioned. Some of these girls who have shown great improvement, like Kennedy Hickson is another one that's really improved over that I've noticed. And there's many of them, not just the ones that we mentioned. So Strasburg's bringing the ball in. Brooke Bauer will go out to Kennedy Hickson, who's going to take a 2 and in and out, rebounded by Strasburg, and it's up and in.
Lily Janish with the rebound and the putback.
And that's a key for your guys' team. You know, it's a couple of the trends we notice up here is the rebounding. Some of the tougher games we definitely get dominated on the board. So it's good to see, you know, girls getting in there and pushing around and getting some rebounds here.
Yep.
So moving forward, that's going to be definitely a factor to be successful in the Patriot League.
Oh, yeah.
So Brooke Bauer moves on the baseline, misses it off the back of the rim, gets her own rebound, and she got fouled, but no call. She took the shot, and that girl hacked her arm. So ball will stay with Strasburg underneath the Strasburg basket with 29 seconds left in the 3rd period. Strasburg leads at 14-7. And that's going to be a turnover on Strasburg. So, Haley, you don't only coach basketball. What else do you coach?
I am the assistant cross-country coach as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So, and that was fun this year, too. That was one silver lining of COVID was we had several kids who wouldn't normally be able to run with us in cross-country who did, and that was a super fun experience. And I think, unfortunately, we stole some of them from their regular sports for next year. So.
Oh, good.
We'll take it. I'll apologize to my colleagues about it later.
Yeah. And speaking of a colleague, you have a close friend that's head coach of the wrestling.
Yes.
Could you give us kind of an update of what's going on with those guys? I know they qualified a few wrestlers last night.
Yeah, so next year there will be 2 Coach Rosses at the high school, which will be interesting. But yesterday the wrestling program qualified Zach Marrero and Spencer Nuttall for state, and they both won. So they are regional champions, which is pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
And normally, in a normal year, the top 4 placers at regionals would move on to state. But because of COVID this year, it's just the top 2. And so Thomas Devlin actually placed 3rd yesterday. So in a normal year, he'd also be going to state. But as a freshman, that's pretty awesome to take 3rd in your region, especially in those heavier weight classes, too. So today it's the heavyweights going. So they don't start until later on this afternoon, but we're looking for several of them to also qualify, which would be great.
And that's a program that, you know, there for a while the program didn't have a lot of participation. Jordan's come in, taken that thing, and participation's up. He's filling all the weight classes. He even has some JV wrestlers. So. Another program where the future's bright, just like the girls' varsity and JV basketball teams.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I think it helps that he coaches football. He convinced a lot of boys to wrestle because it makes you a better football player, according to Coach Ross. And so he had a full roster this year, which that's the first time they've had a full roster since we were in high school, which was 10 years ago. So that's pretty cool. So, and we're looking, Zach Marrero there's high hopes for him this year at state, too. So he's had an awesome year. He's looking pretty dominant.
So starting the fourth period here, I believe.
Yep.
Strasburg's up 14-7. Kate Grove goes into Katie Seligman, who loses a handle, and it's going to go over to Estes Park. That should have been a turnover. She dribbled out, and the ref wasn't
Yes.
looking.
That is one thing this year with the refs. We forget they are reffing quite a bit this year too.
Yeah.
Our refs last night. Dad talked to them, and they had reffed 13 games in the past week. So.
Yeah, and I talked to one coming in today, and he said one ref this season already has refereed 62 games.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So on a 13-game schedule, those guys are going every night.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention they have another job besides reffing. So Samantha Rupel on the shot and just off. So that ball will go back to Estes Park. We have a very thin crowd in here today.
Yes, we do. That is one thing too. I'm excited for the bleachers to be full again.
Yeah. If you do get a chance, the boys this afternoon, they play match buff in a critical game to see who will go into regionals. So I believe they tip off at 2 o'clock this afternoon. You can catch that on YouTube live as well. So tune into that, and hopefully they can get that win.
Yep, and then our girls, today may be their last game, but for about half of our basketball players, they start volleyball on Monday, so they do not get a break.
Yeah, so going into next spring, I don't know what they call it. Is it spring or season 4 or
I don't even
15 or who knows? But whatever season that is, we have unified bowling, which is a brand new varsity sport starting Monday, and then girls volleyball, and I believe girls soccer as well.
Or boys soccer.
Is it boys
I think
soccer?
it's boys soccer.
Yeah.
Sydney Likers at the line, shooting 2. Mr. First, barely off the rim. She almost had that one. Yeah, so we have volleyball and boys soccer, and then I think the last season is track and baseball. Kate Grow with the steal, fast break, little high off the glass. Estes Park has the rebound.
So we're going to get a timeout here. We'll just mention a few more of our sponsors here. Proactive Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine, 13 locations including Strasburg, Brighton, Greeley, and Eaton. Recovery in Motion, 720-805-1853. And Paul's Homes, looking for a new home? Come see Paul's Homes at Blackstone Ranch. Visit us at liveinstrasburg.com or call 303-622-4131. So coming out of the timeout in the fourth period, 4:25 left. Strasburg leads at 14-9. Estes Park will bring the ball up. Kate Grove for the Indians will pick up the ball on defense.
That is one thing this year that we have been able to do is play a lot more man than we have in years past. It's kind of fun to see the girls pick that up.
Sure. What's it? I'm looking at Estes here, and they've got one girl on the bench fighting a bloody nose, and the 5 girls in here, and they've got 6 on their
varsity. Yep.
So what have they got in their program? How many?
I think they have 11, or I think they have 12, but one of their upperclassmen is injured.
I see.
So, and they were like that last year too. After they had those floods up here a few years ago, they had kind of a mass exodus of kids because before that their program was pretty large. I know that when I was in high school, they were pretty dominant in almost every sport.
Right. Yeah, they were definitely a factor in the Patriot back in the day.
Yeah.
Kennedy Hickson brings it up over to Brooke Bauer. Bauer drives in on the baseline, puts it up, and it's off, and that ball's going to go back to Estes Park.
Jackie Saavedra's checking in for Sid Liker. It is nice to play a team that is about the same height as us. Usually we're about a head shorter than everybody.
Yeah, and Mercy and I discussed that as well.
Yes.
Just obviously you guys have the athleticism, especially in the lower level.
Yeah.
But just need some size.
Yes.
So.
I'm not sure how you get that.
Yeah.
Kennedy Hickson with the drive. Beautiful right hand layup. Right past her defense.
That pushes the lead. Strasburg 16, the Bobcats 9. 2:36 left. Estes on a 3.
She banked it in.
The bank is open, as Trevor likes to say. Kennedy Hickson working the point. She'll move in, kicks it over to Bauer. And that shot gets blocked. Estes comes out with it. They'll come down the left side and then move it into the middle. What defense we in here, Case?
Well, we're still in man, but it looks like some of my girls are a little confused. Oh, nope, now we're in a match.
Matchup zone.
Yep.
2-3 matchup.
Yep.
So Strasburg on the rebound. That was pulled down by Rupel, and she kicks it out to Hickson. Bauer takes the shot from the baseline in and out. Pulled down by Estes Park, and we're going to get a timeout. So with 1:22 left, is it the third or fourth period here? They got third on the scoreboard, but I believe it's the fourth period.
It's the fourth.
Yeah. So it's 16-12 with 1:22 left in the game. Westward Fence, LLC. Call Dusty Miller, 303-478-2768 for your commercial, agricultural, and temporary fencing needs. Wolf Waste. Jeff Black, Wolf Waste, LLC, a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business. Call at 970-483-5299. And Western Hardware, Strasburg's local hardware store since 1972. Open 7 days a week for all your home improvement needs. 303-622-4414. So, Haley, what is the JV record this season? Do you know? Being the coach, I would think you would know.
Yeah, we were 5-3 this year on the JV team.
5-3.
Yeah. This is technically a JV game, but we obviously didn't suit our typical JV starters. So, yeah, we had a good season. We lost our first 2 games, we lost one by a point and then the second one by 2. Which part of that is just having some freshmen on JV and sophomores who hadn't played basketball in over a year and gone to some tight game situations. And but yeah, they did really well in JV this year.
And what about the C team? Do you know what their record was?
They're about 500 right now. And they had a rough season because they had hardly any games. We were fortunate to be one of the only schools with a full 3-team program, but the flip side of that is that you have hardly anyone to play. So they played Kiowa a couple of times, and then we had a few out-of-league games and Patriot League games too for them. So yeah, normally, again, in a regular season, most Patriot League teams have a C team as well.
Was that a conscious effort on the Patriot teams to not field C teams, or were their girls' numbers just down?
A lot of the coaches we spoke to about it, who typically would have a C team, said their numbers were just down this year. And I think, at least at our school, part of that can be attributed to being in a hybrid system with COVID or being remote. And so hopefully next year things will bounce back. But yeah, numbers were down, especially in girls sports this year, which is sad to see.
Yeah.
But at Strasburg, our girls came out, which is awesome. We typically have a roster of 22 to 30 kids, and this year we started with 24 and we ended with 22. So
basically down a little bit, not
Yep.
a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And really, we would have our full 24, but we have a couple of girls out due to injury and quarantine and things like that. So, but yeah, so that's pretty normal for us. And we have a larger, I've heard, freshman class coming in next year as well from the middle school.
And speaking of middle school, I heard last night their floor was flooded, and
Yes.
that might put their season in jeopardy.
Yeah, I haven't heard much beyond that, but yes, that's
Yeah.
what I've heard too. So
Hopefully they can get a season in with the
we hope so too.
high school basketball season coming to an end. Maybe they can figure something out there.
I think they were talking about that, so we'll see if they can work something out to
Yeah.
use the high school facilities. Oh, Katie was
Yeah.
fouled pretty hard there. No
Yeah.
call.
Well, that all ties together to you and Mercy's program, so that middle school program's a key element
is.
as well.
It is. We were lucky. Our youth program, Josh Holloway, he's the C team coach for the boys. He took that over this year, which was awesome. And
good.
he has little kids that play, and they were able to go and play other teams out on the Eastern Plains and got lots of games in, which is awesome because I remember that youth program was huge there for a long time, and that's how most kids got involved in basketball.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that up and thriving. Plus, those kids are super fun to watch at that age.
Yeah. Estes Park just hits a three-pointer with 5 seconds left. That moved the score to 16 to 15.
And we're rushing down the floor. Not sure why. We're up by 1.
That's going to end it. So Estes made a little push here at the end, but the final score is 16-15 Strasburg over Estes Park. So Haley, I want to thank you for joining us, and thank Mercy for joining us at the beginning. But
Anytime.
good luck tonight. Go get
Thank
a win.
you.
And we're going to take a little break here and then come back for the varsity game.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.